Hi everybody, this is the second video in the Paint for Waterloo series. I've pretty much finished the Panzer tank I'd started. Fairly happy with how it came out in the end. I've added all this sort of battle damage and weathering effects to it. It might have overdone it slightly maybe, but I wanted to have a go at all the techniques and see how they came out. Obviously, like I said, wasn't using an airbrush or anything, so I wanted to see how it all came out. Could just say this tank's probably seen a lot of action. Yeah, basically for the sort of dried mud here, I used some Games Workshop Agrella and Badland, basically a textured paint, but I really do sort of like how that came out. I mean, I was going to make my own textured paints and do it, but I happened to be in Games Workshop and saw this, and also that, which I used for the mud at the back there. Here, yeah. Basically, I was going to make my own textured paint, but I happened to be in Games Workshop and saw these. Thought I'd try them. This one, I think I would just make my own in future because I've got a paint and emulsion very similar to that tone, and all I've got to do is add a bit of sand and I use ground coffee, put that in it, and that'll give me that effect, and I'll have like, you know, a litre full of it if I need it. This one though, I think I'd use the Games Workshop one because it's just the right colour, just the right sort of texture for dried mud, and I wouldn't need to use too much of it, so this would probably go quite a fair way. So yeah, I'm quite happy to use that one for anything else like that in future. But yeah, but for the other one, I'll probably make my own up. Yeah, so that's it done. There's like some bare metal sort of weathering done there, where it's all the paint's come off all together. Haven't transfers. I've just put a bit of gloss underneath them, put them on. Used Microfix. Is it Microfix? I think. Microsol, Microfix. Got those two products. Can't remember which one it is. But anyway, use that. Haven't varnished over them yet. I just sort of scratched away the transfers to make them look a bit battered. On this side as well. I don't know if they'd actually have this cross on this armour plating, but I wanted a few more sort of insignias on it, so I put them there anyway. Yeah, so basically for the dried mud, I used that Agrella and Badland, just splodged it on. For the dark, sort of more fresh mud, this Sterling Battlemire, again splodged it on with a brush. I've got some Games Workshop, a dry brush colour. They've got Riser Rust. Put a bit on this track on the front there, a bit on this, which I believe is the, to be honest, I'm not even sure what it is, but I know they always look rusty, so I just put some rust on it. Yeah, so I'm generally pretty happy with how it's come out. Yeah, quite happy. Quite keen to do some more. Think I might do a Hanomag next. I've got a few German vehicles, so yeah, I might do one of those next. I've also sort of keen to do the Desert Theatre, so I've got, in fact I've got a British Matilda. I might do that soon as well, do that in desert colours. But yeah, I think at the minute I've got a World War II bug, and I'm quite keen to do a few more vehicles, to be honest. Say I've never done them before. I think next time I do one in this camo scheme, the brown, I've seen that they did often use a more reddish brown, so I might try a different brown, but I'll stick with the other two colours I used. Yeah, basically for the paint chipping, I think I used black grey, Vallejo black grey, just dabbed it on with a sponge, and then dabbed over that in parts with metallic colour to get the chip paint look and the sort of worn away look. all together. Just did it round some areas where I thought it, it might be a bit more like it, and then for some of these panels and sort of some of the hatch areas and the rivet bits, I just used the glossy Agrax Earthshade that Games Workshop do. Just sort of ran it down these panels. Makes it look a bit grimy, oily, I suppose, whatever. Did a bit around here. Yeah, just kind of wasn't really sure what I was doing, just splodged it everywhere. All the effects I wanted to try, and it turned out not too bad, I think. Yeah, so that's the tank. Next, what didn't go quite so smoothly, the first Panzergrenadier. This camo pattern caused me a bit of bother. That figure must have about 6 paint coat on it by now. 6 coats of paint on it, sorry, by now. I originally did the same colours that I used on the tank for this camo pattern, and I sort of followed a tutorial online. I was using different paints to the tutorial, but when I first did it, did the wash over it with I think I used dark shade, either dark shade or Agrax Earthshade, one of the two, and the whole thing looked too murky for me, which on the tutorial I watched it didn't come out like that. I don't know if it's because, you know, the different paints I was using, but so then started again, tried a different wash, it still looked too murky, so then I started again, and this time I used a different base coat. The pale colour I used this Waterloo German camo beige, so that was what I put down as base colour. Then used these two splinter strips, which I used on the tank, and splinter blotches, 2, and just basically painted, you know, shapes on there really. I think it looks, I'm quite happy with it. Whether it's especially authentic to the actual German camo, I don't know. I think it looks something like it. I'll just make sure when I do any other forms of camo, I mean, I've got some German paras to do, and I've got some British paras. I'll just make sure that their camo patterns are all different to these, but this is what I'm going to do for my Grenadiers. Quite happy with it, the way it turned out. I did actually, what I ended up using for a shade in the end was this one, which worked out very well. It's a greeny brown rather than just a straight brown. This is, I say, it's like a greenish brown colour. Worked very well, really good. I did still feel the need to highlight. It still gave it a bit of a murky look, so although it sounds time consuming, I did go around and highlight the other colours again, and for that I used to the green I just added a bit of bright green, and to the brown and the camo beige I added a bit of buff, and just I didn't touch every sort of splotch, I just did it in a few areas just so it brightened it up a bit. I mean, I know camo's not supposed to look bright, I suppose, but on a figure it just looked too murky. So yeah, I just highlighted it all, highlighted the pattern, and it's come out looking, I like it anyway. Don't know about anyone else. Then yeah, just did pouches and that, and bottles and whatever, and I did the ammo pouches here in black grey, and then just highlighted them with a lighter grey. I think the canister here I used the same green that I used on the camo, but I washed it with black wash, didn't bother highlighting it, and then just added a bit of metallic on it to make it look a bit chipped. Haven't finished the base yet, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, quite happy with that now in the end. After several attempts, it was doing my head in, and here's the other chaps in progress now. these are all just got the base coat ready for the camo, but that's them ready now to continue with. Started doing a bit on him at the back, just painting some of the browns in there. You can still see, I think, some of the, yeah, some of the, I was painting in bad light, you can still see some of the more sandy yellowy colour that was used as a base originally. I was going to have to touch that up, but yeah, I've sort of got back into it now. Quite happy with the, this is a much better base colour, I think, for the camo than what I was using. Yeah, so hopefully I'll crack on with these, get them done. Yeah, so yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Oh, one last thing actually, while I think of it, this tank, I haven't varnished it yet. I've got a bottle of brush on Vallejo gloss and a bottle of brush on Tester's dull coat, which I think is fine for figures, but I've never tried it on a vehicle, you know, a bigger item. I'm wondering if painting that on, I'm going to get brush streaks and drips and whatever. So anyone who's experienced in doing these, what would you recommend? Do you think it'll be okay to stick with the brush on, or should I use a gloss spray and then a matte spray? And if that's the case, I don't actually have any sprays. What would anybody recommend for spray varnishes? But if you think painting them on is going to be okay, then yeah, let me know. I'll leave that to the experts to let me know. But anyway, I have heard that John is sort of in recovery, I believe. Hopefully things going well for him. Hope you're watching, John, and hope you're watching the videos that everyone else has put out and you're enjoying them all. And to everybody else watching and commenting, thanks a lot, and see you soon. Bye.